Episode 345, The Leadership Lessons I Learned Too Late. We have a kind of a belief system that either we're going to push you up or we're going to push you out. I don't want to be around 5 other people that aren't pushing themselves to succeed. Success isn't about taking, but giving value first. Compensation follows contribution always. This is true authenticity. It's the truth. Every week, this is our story. We share with you our journey. We share with you our scars.
Please welcome your host, Ty Cobb-Backer.
Let's go. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Today is a special day. Every Wednesday is special. And we have approached our 345th consecutive week. 345 weeks. Holy crap. Woo! Man, what an amazing achievement. For all who have been involved. Seriously, such an amazing achievement, for our guest, for our sponsors, for Vic, for Baker, for everybody, John Stauffer, everybody who's ever been involved, our multiple guests, Chris Markey to David Bruno, list goes on and on and on and on and on. And this week also, we are having a community event. It will mark our 18th anniversary of TC Backer, and we are showing our gratitude to our teammates, showing our gratitude to our community by hosting a community picnic, an event, and all are welcome. So if you've seen a flyer anywhere, somebody yesterday told me they were over at the nail place across the street and saw our flyer and said that they would be here. So we have our friends, our neighbors, our partners, friends, families, pets are all welcomed to our 18th anniversary celebration. We would like to celebrate with you. We will have a food truck here, and it will be free of charge. Spoke to somebody yesterday who offered to actually cover the expenses. So I thought that was pretty good, pretty wild of them. They can't make it, but I asked them if they could join us, and I think out of guilt, they're like, no, but let me see if I can sponsor Mark Jones and his food truck. And I said, you do realize that's not why I'm asking you to participate and join us tomorrow. It's because I like you and we've done business for a long time together. And I want you to be here. Unfortunately, it was short notice. And anyhow, they kind of sprung up on me here yesterday. But we got it in, had a meeting, and it was a good meeting, and some changes coming with one of our manufacturers. Nothing bad, all good stuff. And so he's going to help us out. Can't make it, but they'll help us out. So thank you. You know who you are. So thank you very much for doing that. And today's episode is something that I don't know if we've ever necessarily talked about it on this show, but I know back maybe about a year or so ago, I remember Vic and I sitting in my office over there, and we were talking about different layers, different levels of trust, and how trust can be built and how trust can be broken. And I want to talk about that today. Vic kind of planted the seed, and, so of course, we share our experience, strength, and hope on here, and only usually my experiences. I won't usually go too far off on a tangent on a topic that I don't know much about. So I don't normally want to talk about shit that I don't know anything about or haven't experienced it. But this is definitely something that I've got to experience over the years. It is definitely something that I have worked on, something that I have failed miserably at on both sides of the fence, and want to continue to work on it. And you know, looking back over, my career, man, I've realized, I've learned a lot of lessons, and wish that I wished I would have learned things a lot sooner, but there was there wasn't anybody that had taught me, especially about things like this. It's just, I guess, until you start to experience things, and good things, bad things in business, and it really, this topic has really got me thinking about trust a lot lately, not because, I read a leadership book on it, not because I saw a great keynote speaker, but because I keep seeing it. Because now I guess I'm looking for it again, but I keep seeing it in our business. I keep seeing it in businesses. I see it inside families, friendships, marriages, inside leadership. And honestly, inside my own life, and if I could sit down with my 25-year-old self, over a cup of coffee, I think one of the first things I'd tell him would be, trust has many levels, but I didn't understand it for a long time. And I thought people either trusted you or they didn't. And I thought if you hired someone, you trusted them. If they were good teammates, team members, you trusted them. If they were family, okay, and that's a big one for me, you trusted them. If they were your friend, you trusted them. Right? Simple enough. It sounds simple enough. But the one thing I think I know that life has taught me, something completely different. Trust isn't binary. Sorry. Well, Vic rearranged the studio here and brought back the old Blackmagic studio camera, which I love the looks of that thing, especially when we're in studio, and especially on the road too, man. It's just good eye candy, and I can tell the camera's on. So if I'm kind of like all over the place and standing a little bit differently, it's because Vic brought some of our on the road / studio. Honestly, I don't even know if we used half of this stuff in studio until today. So things are set up a little bit differently. We got some more lights in here. So if I look a little brighter, I sound a little louder, a little quieter, things are different, but we do try to keep things different. So anyhow, big shout out to Vic on that. So I trust Vic.
You're listening to Do the Work, Stay the Course, No Shortcuts, the podcast for people who are serious about building something real. From business and leadership to accountability and personal development, this show cuts through the noise and focuses on what actually works: discipline, consistency, and execution. No hype, no gimmicks, just the mindset and habits required to operate at a higher level. If you're ready to stop looking for shortcuts and start building momentum the right way, listen to Do the Work, Stay the Course, No Shortcuts, anywhere you get your podcasts. Let's get to work.
Like I was saying, trust isn't binary. It's built, it's earned, it's tested, it grows. Okay. Back when Jan and I started, building the business, we weren't thinking about leadership. Okay. We were thinking about survival. We were trying to keep the freaking lights on. We were trying to find customers, pay bills, figure out, payroll, figure out tomorrow, and if that sounds familiar to any of you, this will probably be a good podcast. So back then I made a mistake right? I see young leaders make the same mistake all the time. And I still make this mistake. All right. I used to confuse liking somebody with trusting someone. And I think the lesson that I learned was just because somebody was a great person didn't mean they were ready for greater responsibility. Okay. And just because somebody had incredible talent didn't mean they had earned greater trust. I learned that lesson the expensive way. Okay. I've learned it sometimes, financially, emotionally, relationally, and I guess the question that I would be asking any parent, father, entrepreneur out there is, have you ever handed someone responsibility before they have earned it? Because I know I have. Have you ever ignored warning signs because you wanted to believe the best? I have. Have you ever thought they'll figure it out, only then to realize later they weren't ready, or I trusted the wrong person? Been there, did that. Stings, burns, sucks. And every one of those experiences have taught me something. Trust isn't about optimism. Trust is about evidence. Okay. One of my favorite books, and you guys have heard me talk about John Gordon, The Energy Bust. And in fact, I liked it so much. And those of you that know me and have ever received an email from me know that I changed my signature, not only to say CEO, but Chief Energy Officer, because I really believe one of my biggest responsibilities is bringing energy into every room that I walk into, because people don't need another person or another parent or another leader who drains them. They need someone who believes in them, someone who gives them hope, someone who gives them responsibility, someone who gives them accountability, someone who reminds them what's possible. Because here's something I've learned, because believing in people is not the same thing as trusting them. I can believe in your future while realizing you're still growing. Okay. I can encourage you without giving you responsibility. Okay. That's two different ideas that actually can coexist. And honestly, I believe that's healthy leadership. Okay. And some of you have heard me talk about the trust bank. Okay. And here's the best way I think that I can illustrate it is, think of trust like a bank account. Okay. Every promise you keep, deposit. Okay. Every difficult conversation you handle with honesty, another deposit. Every mistake you own, deposit. Every time you show up when you said you would, deposit. Every time you choose integrity when nobody is watching, deposit. Over time, that account grows. Okay. Because here's the hard part. Okay. Withdrawals happen too. Okay. Missed commitments, half truths, excuses, blaming others, avoiding responsibility. And those are withdrawals. Okay. The good news is trust can grow, but sometimes it takes years. Okay. The bad news is one careless decision can drain an account faster than you ever imagined. That's why leaders have to protect trust like it's one of the one of the company's greatest assets, because it is, right? When I look around today at some of the leaders in our organization, the people I trust the most, none of them earn that trust overnight. Okay. Some have been with us for years. Some started doing small things, answering phones, helping customers, running production, writing estimates. And nobody announced this person is trustworthy. It happened gradually. Okay. Every time that they followed through, every time they owned a mistake, every time they chose the company over themselves, one brick at a time, eventually, okay, I realized something. I wasn't checking behind them anymore. I wasn't worried when they made a decision. I wasn't wondering if things would get done. I trusted them. Vic is an amazing example of that. Okay. I can tell him half of what I need done today because we've worked together so much, and he gets it. He does it. He takes passion in it. And whether it's not done correctly, I know he put his heart and soul in it, and it gets done some way, somehow. He gets it done. Okay. And there's many people in this building, in the other building across town, that have earned that trust. Because here's what happens next. Give them more responsibility, not because they asked for it, but because they earned it. Leadership isn't about giving responsibility away. It's about recognizing when someone has become capable of carrying it. Okay. So I have a question. Okay. How, and I've been asked this question, not very often, not as much as some of the other questions that I get about leadership and stuff. But the one question I have been asked is how do you know when someone is ready to be promoted? And I'll try to answer this in the shortest way possible. And I don't know if I answered it as well as I'm going to try to answer it today to them then when they ask me this question. But I feel like and this is from my experience, from what I've saw in this building, and I actually have a particular person in mind when I say this. Okay. They're already doing the job before they have the title. Okay. They solve problems. They solve problems they don't necessarily have to solve. Okay. They care about customers when no one is watching. They represent the culture when I'm not around. Okay. They're making decisions based on values instead of convenience. That's trust. Okay. The title simply catches up with them, I guess at some point in time, because I know there for a fact that there's been several people in this organization that didn't have job titles. It eventually catches up to them. So I love how my coaster just follows me around. It's convenient on this beautiful table. I want to set my water bottle on this beautiful table that Howie built for us. So anyhow, so the question is, okay, and it's a difficult question. And I just recently, after thinking about this topic for a while, who trusts you? Okay. Not who likes you, but who really trusts you? Who would hand you the keys to their business? Who would trust you with their children? Who would trust you with their finances? Okay. And this is something I got to deal with. Who would trust you with your reputation? Right? Those are different questions. They deserve, I believe, an honest answer, because trust isn't built by what we say. It's built by what we repeat, what we have repeatedly done. Okay. Every day over years, not weeks, not months. And we deal with stuff, we've dealt with people where they expect, and I've done that. Shit. When I first got sober, I remember like I couldn't believe that nobody trusted me after having 3 days sober or a week or 3 months, where I spent decades of just tearing things and people apart. And I see it on the other side of things too. I know Vic and I have had some difficult conversations with people that we just couldn't convince, like, no, you're not ready. You're not ready. And it takes years, especially it depends on how much drama we created or they created. It depends on how much wreckage they've created. And I think this is the biggest thing. It's how often have we been burnt? You've burnt me a lot. I've seen it. I've experienced it. It sucks. And it takes time. Time takes time to build either trust back or even to just build trust up, even if the person hasn't burnt you necessarily. So the one thing, I guess, as I've gotten older, my goals have changed. Okay. I still want to grow companies. I still love building businesses. And I still, man, I love entrepreneurship. Like, it is a passion of mine. Entrepreneurship is a passion of mine. But if my team ever stood on a stage after I'm gone, okay, I don't want the first thing, or my children, I don't want the first thing that they say, he built a successful company. No, I want them to say something like, he trusted us. He believed in us. He helped us become who we are today. He helped us become good parents. He helped us become a leader. He helped me overcome demons that I had in my life, because to me, that's legacy that lasts. Okay. Buildings don't last forever. Revenue doesn't last forever. Shit. Businesses change. Okay. People change, right? People carry leadership into the next generation. And I think that's what matters. So today I want to leave you with 3 questions. Okay. Number one would be, who has earned a greater level of trust from you over the years? What did they actually do to earn it? Okay. Number 2, who are you investing in right now? Okay. Who has the potential that simply needs opportunity? All right. And finally, if the people closest to you were making a list of the people they trust the most, would you be on that list? Because here's what I've learned over the years. Okay. Trust isn't built during the big moments. Okay. It's built on the Tuesday mornings. It's built by returning phone calls. It's built by showing up. It's built by telling the truth. It's built by doing what you said you would do day after day, year after year, little by little, until one day someone looks at you and says, I trust you. I don't know many compliments greater than that one. I trust you. So thank you for spending these few minutes with me today. If this conversation challenged you, I hope you'll share it with another person, a business owner, a husband, a wife, a friend, because every relationship we have is built on trust. And remember this, okay? Leadership isn't measured by how many people work for you. Leadership is measured by how many people trust you enough to follow you. All right. So keep building, keep believing in people, and never stop earning trust you've been given. We'll see you next time on Behind the Tool Belt.
Thanks to our sponsors, TC Backer Construction, Hook Roofing Marketing, Roofle, and Project Map It. And thank you for watching. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Facebook. We are streaming on all major platforms. See you next week for another episode of Behind the Tool Belt.